Hey guys.
Hey!
Notice anything different?
Oh my goodness!
We've got spooky music.
Yeah.
Which only means we're doing a spooky episode.
Ooh.
Also, how professional of us.
I know. And listen to this part.
Oh my gosh.
It's like in a movie theater.
It is.
It's very cinematic.
Feels like IMAX.
Yes. And then that smooth transition.
We've been geeking out over
For like the last 30
these
minutes.
audio pieces. It's just too good.
It is too good.
It's too good.
Too good. Hopefully it's not too distracting. I can actually turn us up. I'll do that later. But
yeah. We guys hope it. Let us know what you think about the audio in the background, because if that's something that you guys like, we like it so far.
yeah, I enjoy it.
I think that we can definitely incorporate it. So it feels a lot more like a podcast. Like very podcasty.
Let me pull up my Google Doc.
So we
Do
know
we
it's
have any-
July.
Yes.
We know it's July.
But we're prepping for October, November.
But we're prepping for spooky season. So we thought, what better to do than tell some spooky stories?
Ooh.
Now, these are stories that we found online. I think that we may also kind of break off and talk about some other experiences too. But we found some pretty bone-chilling stories.
Mine aren't really like that, but they make you think.
Some of these I found on Reddit.
I found all mine on Reddit too. Well, websites that quoted Reddit.
Yeah. They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
I gotta find my Google Doc.
So
Okay, there it is.
I guess we'll just... Do you have any updates about anything?
I
before we
do. There's a
jump
couple
into
things I'd like to say.
Go for it.
I don't want to talk about Colleen Ballinger again,
Okay, period. She's done.
but she copyrighted her music, so that's annoying.
Yes. Yeah, I did. We talked about this today.
So I don't want to sing it because we might get copyrighted.
Get our second copyright strike.
Yeah, which I'm surprised last episode did not get a copyright strike.
Well, what had happened was Ethan Klein from the H3 podcast, they were talking about it on H3 After Dark, I believe.
Yeah.
And they had made their own kind of parody song of it.
Mm-hmm.
And she copyright struck them.
Yeah.
I guess that's the correct term. It wasn't actually like a real copyright strike, but I guess she uploaded the audio on something called CD Baby. She got them. They can't use the audio.
It's crazy. Like, I don't know. My second update is I've had a lot of people bring up the in-ground pool versus above-ground pool thing to me. And I want people to know, I don't judge you for having an above-ground pool.
Clear the air.
I'm just saying I prefer, and who doesn't, an in-ground pool.
That's everybody's
And
preference.
in my 16-year-old mindset, it's smarter to get an in-ground pool when in all actuality, is that how you say that? It's
in all actuality.
Yeah,
whatever. You
whatever.
said it right.
Okay.
No, you said it right.
It's not like some people just can't do it.
Sure.
But like as a 14-year-old or whatever, you think, oh, money's not a thing, you know?
Well, yeah.
But obviously, guys, I know above ground pools are not that big of a deal. Like, it's not like...
It's a swimming pool.
It's a swimming pool. Like, my kid loves an above ground pool. Like, do not get me wrong. I'm just saying. I'm not one to lay there and float. I'm the one that wants to dive and play mermaids.
Watch me do a handstand.
Yes. So I can't do that in an above ground pool.
You can.
No, I want to run, jump in. I want to like diving board. I want everything.
Well, sure. Who doesn't?
But anyway, a lot of people brought it up, and I'm just here to say that I appreciate above ground pools.
Okay.
I just prefer an in-ground.
Don't cancel Ashley because she prefers in-ground pools. Okay, back off. Back off. No, I get it.
And I think that's it. I don't have anything other than, did we talk about Brian Koberger? Yes, we did. Last time. Okay, never mind. Then I have no other updates.
This audio is so spooky.
I know. I wish it was dark outside.
I know.
It will be soon.
We did turn, if you guys tuned into the last episode, the ring light in the podcast room.
Was it last episode or the episode before? I think it was the episode before.
Oh, I think you're right.
But still,
oopsie.
All the same.
Mysteriously turned on by itself. So in anticipation of us telling scary stories, we turned it on. So hopefully something spooky happens.
Ooh, you know what we haven't done?
What's that?
Seen what July looks like.
Flip the calendar. flip the calendar. Ashley has a sexy fireman's poster that I got her for Christmas. Oh,
Ooh, I like this one.
it's a group shot.
It is
And
a
one of
group
them
shot.
has his shirt off.
Shout out to them.
Yep, shout out to the local fire
department.
Yes. For making a great
I don't know what the money's
calendar.
raised for, but it's raised for something.
Yeah. It probably goes to the fire department.
You think?
I mean,
Don't our taxes
Unless
go
they-
towards that?
well, you know,
Just kidding.
you know,
Anyway,
maybe they
I'm just
donate it to
kidding.
a charity.
They might. I don't know.
There's
I
also
really don't
local
know.
ads.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a good moment for
Oh,
everybody.
we should put an ad in the next calendar.
We've got to get on that.
Dude,
We've got to
we
get
have
on that.
got to.
In the sexy fireman calendar.
Yes, I
Could you
wonder how much it
imagine?
is. I wonder how much it is.
I'll call and get some info.
Oh, dude, I'm being serious.
If anybody is looking for a position to be our
Assistant.
assistant, you'd be an
Administrative
unpaid,
assistant.
Listen, you'd be an unpaid intern,
Yeah.
but just know that we
Yeah.
would appreciate
I
it.
provide food.
Yeah, we eat.
Yeah.
Period. We eat and have fun. Okay.
Yes.
If that sounds interesting to you,
Hit us up. My number is. I'm just kidding.
yeah,
yeah.
right. Okay, Ashley, do you want to tell the first spooky story, or
But mine aren't spooky enough. Okay.
just say
This
it?
and they're short. Look how short they are.
That's
They're
okay.
like really short. Okay.
No, that's okay.
This one's called, I named it the retirement home.
Ooh, spooky.
Okay. One night, a resident's bell rang at 2:59 a.m. when it says user, but it was talking about when the nurse, let's just say the nurse, when the nurse entered the room, the patient asked them to remove the dark figure without a face that was hiding in her bathroom. Shaken, they assumed the resident had done so and returned to their desk. I don't know what that means. Does that make sense? This doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
No, it's okay. Keep going.
But so pretty much what they're saying is that she pretty much pretended, I guess, to get rid of this faceless person that was
okay.
in the room. So then she went back to the nurse's station.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm getting from it. And then it says 10 minutes later, another resident's bell rang on the opposite side of the end of the hall. Upon entering, the patient said, "There's a creepy man in my room with no face. You need to get him out." Once again, returning to her desk terrified, the care specialist asked the nurse to stay with them for the rest of their shift. Yeah, could you imagine?
That's scary.
Faceless. And you know what's crazy? So they call him the Hat Man. Have you ever heard of the Hat Man?
No.
I was watching YouTube videos on it today. It's a lot of people dating back to the 1800s and stuff.
Wait a second. Is it a very tall apparition with a very tall hat?
Yes.
Stop. Because I know people in my life that have seen.
Yes. And he's faceless, apparently.
Oh my gosh.
He's just a figure. They call him shadow figures.
I didn't know that was like a common.
Yeah, like
phenomenon.
everybody. Like, it's not everybody, obviously, but like, it's like a known thing.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
With a very tall hat?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The Hat Man. Let's
It's
Google it.
scaring me.
Let me Google it.
Ugh.
Hat Man. Shadow people. Yep. It says the Hat Man. Hashtag Benadryl. I guess maybe people see it while they're on Benadryl.
Makes them loopy?
Oh, it says how the Hat Man went from Benadryl joke to TikTok horror villain.
Oh.
Anyway, so apparently it's like trending, I guess.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, but look, it's all Hat Man.
Yeah, we're gonna. We might have to do a deep dive into the Hat Man.
That's what I'm saying. These stories just remind me of like things that we could deep dive on. But yeah, Hundo P, it's
A real thing.
yeah. Could you imagine though being in the hospital and then like they say like elderly people can see like
Yeah.
some messed up things.
Yeah.
Like my next story is kind of like that too. But they
That's scary.
it is scary.
Being in the hospital and then because that makes you feel like you're at the end of your life or something.
Yeah.
Seeing something like that, like the Grim Reaper.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Okay, this is a story that I found on Reddit, on the subreddit titled Ghost Stories. And the title is, "I saw my friend's spirit, then found his body next to it."
I read this one.
Did you?
I did.
Okay, I thought it was pretty.
I think I did. I
thought it was pretty interesting and spooky. Okay, here we go. I was about 12 or 13 years old at the time in the late 1960s. We lived in the Midwest in a farming town surrounded by cornfields and beef cattle farms. We attended a church in a nearby smaller town that was about 20 miles from our town, almost all cornfields, cows, and scattered farmhouses along the 2-lane road. Ooh, 2-lane road. One day on the way to church, my dad was driving. Mom was in the front seat and I was in the back, driving by miles of cornfields. I saw someone standing by the corn miles from a house. As we drove closer, I saw it was Lee, my friend from church. Alongside of the road was a ditch about 3 feet deep and 4 feet wide for the ample rain the area got. The side of the ditch next to the cornfield had a small hill of dirt.
I screenshotted it.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
Okay.
Hill of dirt, my bad.
Yeah. No, you're good. Small hill, that just means that we think alike.
Yeah.
Okay, so the side of the ditch next to the field had a small hill of dirt about 4 feet above the road, like a levee, so the rain on the field would stay in the field and not run into the road. Lee was standing on that hill in front of the fence with his back to the corn and facing the road. He was a few years older than I. He just stood there looking out at the horizon, not down on the road, motionless. Black pants and a white shirt. I told my parents that Lee was standing by the road. We got to church, and at the service, Lee's parents looked distraught. The minister made an announcement that Lee had just gotten a motorcycle and had not been seen for 2 days, and his parents were worried. My mom and dad looked at me and told me not to say a thing. After the service, I went to Lee's parents and told them what I saw. They were shocked at my parents not stopping to help their son. My mom explained that they didn't see Lee, so they didn't stop. They insisted to follow us home and stop where I saw their son. I wasn't sure I could, as it was all the same mile after mile of corn. It all looked the same. As we drove home, up ahead I saw him again, just standing there. I pointed him out, but my parents didn't see him, and drove by again. I opened the car door knowing my dad would slow down, and I got out of the car as soon as he came to a stop. Lee's parents pulled right behind us. My dad was mad and told me to get back in the car, but I kept pointing to Lee and telling him, there he is, he's standing right over there. But they didn't see him. I had to run back on the road a bit to get to where Lee was standing, both parents following me. My dad was mad and Lee's parents were confused. I finally got to the spot I was standing in front of Lee. He was still standing on the hill of dirt about 4 feet higher than I stood on the road. He was looking forward, not at any of us, eyes open, not moving one bit, not responding as I spoke to him. My dad was really mad, and he ordered me to the car. Lee's parents asking, where is he? The ditch by the side of the road was full of tall weeds, maybe 3 feet high. My dad was taller than I and saw something in the weeds the rest of us didn't. He stepped into the ditch, moving the weeds, and we could see the handlebars of a motorcycle.
Oh my God.
My dad was furious, pulling the bike around and grabbing something. He found Lee's body and the bike hidden in the weeds in the ditch just below where I could see Lee, plain as day, standing. Lee's parents were holding each other, gasping, as my dad tried to pull Lee from the bike, and he said, Lee's gone. I turned from Lee and looked at his parents sobbing. Then I heard Lee say in a very sad, slow voice, I'm sorry, Mom. I turned back and Lee was still just staring out at the horizon. I told his mom what he said, and both his parents cried. People driving by stopped and helped. Someone got the sheriff, but Lee was long dead. Jeez. Mom had me get back in our car, and I sat for probably over an hour until we drove back home again. My parents knew I saw spirits since I was a child. They'd seen some too. It was accepted in our family, though we didn't talk about it to others. My mom would at times take me to a spiritualist church that had mediums. They were open to metaphysical teachings. The rest of the day was uneventful for us, though sad. The night I was doing my homework for school the next day, and there was a knock at the door. It was the sheriff and other men in uniform that wanted to talk to me. They didn't believe I saw his spirit and accused me of running Lee off the road, killing him, and that's how I knew where the body was. I was just a kid. I couldn't drive. I did have a bicycle, but would never ride out that far. The men returned 2 more times, asking me the same questions. Later, they'd return only to talk to my parents. Nothing more happened from that, but at school I was getting harassed by some students about what I did to Lee. Lee went to another school than I did, but it was a farming community, and many kids knew his family. Until I graduated high school, I'd be accused of his death. My parents attended Lee's funeral, but I didn't go. A few days later, we all attended church on Sunday. Lee was nowhere to be seen on the road to church. Everyone there was distant to us. Lee's parents would not look at my parents, but would give mean stares at me. Multiple people at church did the same. This continued for a few more Sundays, then my parents spoke to the minister, and that was the last time we went to that church. I don't know what was said, but it was obvious we were not welcome. Now, over 50 years later, I think of seeing Lee standing there, hearing his voice, watching my dad struggle to help Lee, and tell them that he was dead. 2 weeks ago, I heard from a classmate from my school, but he was older than I. He said to me, "Parker, when are you going to come clean on what happened to Lee?" All this time, and still some hold me responsible. I think it was a gift from Lee that I would see him and tell where the accident happened. The tall weeds would not reveal his body until winter, when the weeds would die down. He stood a few feet from his body and gave me a final message to his mother. I think the universe arranged this blessing for me to see him. I've not seen him since. After high school, I left the community and have not returned even for a class reunion. When I heard from my old classmate accusing me of harming Lee, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'd forgotten how tormented I was about this when I was young, and now today I'm an old man, and it hurts that people still think I harmed Lee. I was his last friend on earth. He showed me where his body was and gave me a message for his mother. I do feel good about that, but it hurts that others still accuse me of doing something I'd never do to anyone.
Damn.
Jeez.
That one sounds like legit. Like, I could see that one happening.
I think it is. I mean, I don't know. What do I know? But that one was... That's sad.
Yeah, like...
That this old man is living with this... Well, he didn't do anything by the story, but he can see things.
Not to sound crazy, but I'm pretty sure I've had a similar situation, but I've only told a few people. So, like, I've told you about it. I'm not going to tell it on here because it's personal with other people.
Right,
but
right.
That's why I don't tell people, because I'm like, I can imagine it be taken like super wrong.
Like in a,
not that I did anything, but like in the sense of like,
what's the word I'm thinking of? Like
I'm fibbing almost.
Like you're making light of a situation.
Yeah, or something like that. Even though there's nothing light about the situation.
You do have something.
I think so, man.
Well, definitely have some psychic.
I was watching YouTube videos before you came in, and it was how to everyone's intuitive, or whatever the word is.
Yeah, intuitive.
And how to make it more like
channel that.
Channel it, yeah. I was watching a guy who studies it and stuff, and he was like, "This is how you do it," and he was teaching it, and it was just like, you can read people, and like, he's like, I can teach you to go to sleep at night and then predict the next day.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if he's full of crap, but like, it was an interesting, like,
so
listen.
Interesting. Yeah.
The whole thing is just like, I wouldn't call myself a medium by any means.
You've got some
but
kind
my
of gift.
Dreams are like, it's weird.
Yeah, your dreams are like very...
I always have these dreams, and I wake up and tell Haley about them the next day, and then it's like they all come true to an extent.
Dude, it's it was funny the first couple times that it happened, because I was like, what the heck? Like, what a coincidence. But now I'm like convinced.
Yeah.
You are psychic.
And I feel like I can read people really well. Like their moods and stuff, which like, I don't know if that's just like
their energies.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just like, I don't know. Yeah, like if somebody's like, something's going on in their life, you could tell.
You have a really strong intuition.
Yeah. We didn't light our incense.
Oh no.
They're gonna get us. Here, you keep talking.
We need the protection of the incense. I've got a short one. You want me to read a short one real quick? Okay. Okay, this is a post on the Ghost Stories Reddit as well. This one is called Sleep Paralysis or Paranormal Activity. So this could kind of go as either, depending on your opinion. But this poster says, last night I was having trouble getting to sleep. Around 2 a.m., I sensed someone outside my bedroom door. I turned my head to look and saw a tall, shadowy figure standing in the shadows. The figure then spoke to me very clearly in the voice of my next door neighbor and asked, "Do you have any tobacco?" I was half asleep and confused and angry, and so I rudely replied, "No," and the figure silently moved away a second later. I heard the front wooden door open and close, but no screen door or my neighbor's doors. Let's see. Oh, I lay in bed angry for a bit. Then, as I fully awakened, I realized my front door was locked and deadbolted, with the screen door also locked. My neighbor didn't have a key. He had given them back after borrowing my car earlier in the evening. Goosebumps crawling all over, I go and check my doors, locked safely as they had been when I went to bed. Yet I have one footprint that looks like someone turning on the spot. I didn't think you could move or talk during sleep paralysis. I've experienced other paranormal activity, yet this was such a non-threatening but still alarming experience. Very different to anything I've seen so far. Please convince me I'm not going crazy.
I've never had sleep paralysis.
Me either. Thank the Lord.
Never.
Because I read all kinds of, or see videos of people talking about it,
and
that
it's
is
terrifying.
The most frightening thing.
I don't know if I was good in a past life and they're not coming after me.
The incense smells so good.
I know.
I love that stuff.
Okay. This
Your
one's
turn,
called
Ashley.
Little Kids Running Around the ICU When Death Comes.
Oh.
Got straight to the point. I didn't name that one. It came like that. Okay. Reddit user Dr. Yard posted an intriguing insight to the end-of-life experiences in hospitals on the subreddit r/paranormal in February of 2022. To all those ICU nurses out there, hit us up, because I know a couple.
Please. I'm sure that you all have some sort of experience.
Okay, the doctor subscribed a particular phenomenon that occurs toward the end of many patients' lives when they see small children running around their bed and outside their door. The doctor explains that this is most common in the ICU, but the pattern is very recognizable and experience is very similar across all cultures and backgrounds of ages. Experienced doctors and nurses are used to reports like these from their patients and learn to expect their passing when they hear this. The post concluded by stating, "So if you're doing rounds in the ICU late at night and hear someone snickering or tiny feet running in the hallways, prepare because they call code green or code red is about to sound off in the PA system." Even creepier, all the scores of comments of the healthcare workers beneath the post are confirmed to similar experiences in this phenomenon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ew.
And like if it's like a known thing, let me see if I can Google
It's like a
children
shared
playing
experience.
in ICU or something. Children playing in ICU before death. Oh, don't do that. Don't Google that.
Did you say don't Google
Yeah, don't
that?
Google that.
Oh, okay. Yikes.
It's just a lot about kids with cancer.
Oh, no.
I must have worded that weird. Weird.
That's not good.
No, it's not funny, but it's
Sad.
uncomfy.
Yeah, not what you were
Anyway,
looking for.
yeah, so I don't know. We got to ask some of these people that deal with,
That are in that environment.
yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, and it's the fact that it's a shared experience too.
Yes.
Oh,
It's like little kids playing.
I'm sure
Yes.
that they've all got similar stories.
Yeah. Ugh.
I'm getting the spooks.
So if I'm laying there and I see little kids playing, maybe it's my time.
You know, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Oh
Well, I
my
wonder why the
gosh.
ICU though, or like not just the ICU, but usually the ICU is when people are like going to, like they're
Right.
critical.
Right.
So, I wonder if obviously it's going to be the ICU because they're close to death already.
Right.
So I wonder why kids and why maybe it's peaceful to be around kids.
Maybe it's like youth, like
Or yeah, you're like
reminding you of your youth. Before,
Maybe.
I don't know.
don't know.
Maybe it's
either.
like a full circle moment.
I've been
like,
in the ICU, not me personally, been in the ICU, but I know
visited.
somebody that was in the ICU, and I like nothing about their experience, but like being in the hallway at nighttime in the ICU is insane.
Creepy.
It's dark. They turn the lights out.
What?
Yeah, it's completely dark. I mean, you can see. I mean, there's obviously
Right.
lights, but like the few times, which I've been in the ICU a couple times for people,
They turn the lights off.
they
in the
turn the
hallway?
lights off in the hallways.
That's scary.
Not in the hospital, but in the unit.
Right. That's scary.
Yeah. I don't know if it's because it's bedtime, so people are like,
Well, it's like already.
you don't want to have the lights on.
If you're visiting or in the ICU, it's already kind of like a scary place to be.
Mhm.
And hospitals are kind of scary places to
Well,
be anyway.
even when I stayed in the hospital myself,
Mm.
we turned the lights off at night when I was in the hospital.
In the hospital
In the
room,
regular,
or-
yeah, in the hospital room and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
So, I mean, there were still lights on in the ICU room, but like it wasn't
Right.
like bright by any means. The
Yeah.
main lights were off.
Hallway though, like imagine walking up and down the hallway.
Yeah, and all you see is just lights from the dark rooms. It's
Ugh.
at least that was my experience. I don't know like how it is
Sadder.
for all the time, or if it was just a fluke thing. The few
Yeah.
times I went, it was dark.
I say I'm not scared of the dark, but if I was in a dark hospital,
Yeah,
it'd be a different story.
yeah.
Different story. Okay, this is a short post that was written on the paranormal subreddit. They titled this "Ghost at a Customer's House?" question mark. And this is what they say. So I work as a plumber, and I was outside a customer's house working on their drain when I noticed movement through her glass door. I glanced up instinctively and saw what appeared to be a man wearing a light brown jacket and blue jeans walking through the kitchen. And I thought, oh, that must be her husband, since I hadn't met him. Only her when she came outside to show me the problem. Fast forward an hour or so, I go to the front door to collect payment and finish paperwork, and the customer invites me in, and we sit at her dining room table, casually conversating while working on my tablet. She goes on about how her husband always used to handle these types of things, and he knew more about everything technical, then goes on to mention that he passed away in December of last year. Didn't click at the time, but eventually while talking, I came to the conclusion that it must have been a relative or maybe her son. I couldn't tell age from that distance. But then she said she'd been all alone since her husband died. Nobody has come over. I thought maybe I could have mistaken her as someone else through the glass door, except the fact that the figure I saw walking through the kitchen was significantly taller, and the customer sitting in front of me was wearing a white-ish nightgown, which can't be mistaken for a brown jacket and blue jeans. This isn't my first possible run-in with the paranormal. It may just be tired mind playing tricks. Who knows? It's weird. I imagine like an older lady,
Yeah.
not like a young woman or something.
My mom has some ghost stories.
Yeah.
I tell you, she grew up on a farm that was on. There's cemeteries all over the farm,
Yeah.
and like they owned them. Like my grandparents are buried on that farm.
Oh wow.
She still goes up there and like cleans their graves and stuff like that. But like she told me a story one time of that they were messing around in the cemetery and they were kind of goofing off and just not being respectful, I guess.
Mm.
And then that night, she said she woke up and there was a woman, and these cemeteries are old. You got to think like this. My mom's she was born in the 60s.
Yeah.
So they were way older than that. Like
Right.
it was old cemetery.
Right.
She said that there was a woman sitting at the foot of her bed, and she was wearing a skirt, like an old fashioned skirt, and tie up boots,
Mm.
like those pointed boots that
Yeah.
like old timey boots,
Yeah.
and a ruffled shirt or something like that. And she said she just sat on the end of her bed, and she had hardwood floors, and it was an old creepy house. I've been to it. It's creepy.
Ugh.
And she said, my mom said the girl got up and then walked out the room and went down the hallway. So my mom got up, brave, could never.
Oh my god.
She touched, as soon as her feet touched that hardwood floor, it was completely warm. So something had been standing there.
Right.
And so she went down the hallway and she could never see the lady again. I guess she saw her a couple times, but then my mom's had a lot of paranormal stuff like happen to her. Like we used to have friends come over and we'd sit around the fireplace and she would tell us all these stories and
Yeah.
freak us out. And my brother and his friends would go outside and bang on the windows mid-story. It was horrible, but it was so much fun, though. It was so much fun. But she's got some good ones. We should have her on just to tell us her stories, because they're...
Oh my gosh, yeah.
She's a good storyteller, too. But I'm trying to think of another one she told me about. Like, there's been multiple things where she was like... She was vacuuming one day, and I told you about we lived in that person's house that didn't want us to live there.
Yes. Yeah.
And she was like, I was vacuuming one day, and I swear I could feel someone running at me.
Oh my god.
Like charging her as she was vacuuming. So she had to stop vacuuming and kind of like stand there for a minute, because she just had this feeling of it. And then when I was in that house, I told you about the figure at the end of my bed.
Yeah.
That like dropped as soon as I like set up
Yeah.
or whatever. But like stuff like that, man. Just creepy stuff.
This is stressing me out. This is so scary.
I don't even know if I believe in this stuff, but then I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, do I believe in this stuff? But then I'm like, I've experienced things. I'm like, don't make sense.
I think maybe it's just like, I believe in this stuff, but I've also not had a paranormal experience since I was probably like 10. That was a paranormal experience. But I haven't from like 10 on.
Yeah. But they say your mind's more open when you're a kid.
Your mind is more open when you're a child.
Like you're more susceptible.
Word?
Yes, to seeing things at a young age.
They present themselves
to
younger people.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm gonna start watching the show Ghost. I've seen clips on TikTok and they're pretty good. It looks pretty good.
Oh,
I've seen a couple episodes.
Ghost Whisperer?
Yes, Ghost Whisperer. Not Ghost, the movie. Ghost Whisperer.
I was like, oh, huh?
With, what's her name?
Oh, Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yes.
It's very good. I used to watch it when I was younger.
I've seen some episodes.
That's a very good show.
But what made me think of that was I just saw a clip of her in a children's school, and there was a woman there.
Yeah.
It used to be a mental hospital or something, and it turned into a school. And a woman was there, and all the kids could see her, and she was teaching them things like stuff in different languages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like she was not a good spirit by any means. But anyway, that made me think of that, because kids. And
maybe we should start it. I haven't watched that show in a long time.
We should.
I used to watch it a lot growing up.
I watched a lot of Ghost Hunters.
Oh, me too.
Loved Ghost Hunters.
Ghost Adventures with Zach Baggins.
Caps. Oh, I don't know who that is.
Huh?
I don't know. Ghost Adventures. I think I maybe watched an episode the other day on it.
With
but
Zach
Caps
Baggins?
was Ghost Hunters. That was the name of their squad.
Adventures. Hang on, let me show you. You know who they are.
Let me see.
These guys.
Yeah, that's the one I watched the other day.
Oh my gosh.
I just watched like the first 10 minutes on my lunch break.
Did you?
It was a little intense for me.
I used to watch Ghost Hunters too. Ghost Hunters, in my opinion, is better than Ghost Adventures.
Yeah. But then like Ghost Hunters came out and it said like only like 30% of it's factual or like real. The rest of it's fake.
Which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I'm sure they caught some things.
You just watch it for the spooks, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So my next one is Strange Woman on the Phone.
Ooh.
This was posted in the Reddit page of Paranormal.
Okay.
She experienced this in 2013. Okay. She was an insurance claim inspector. So like your roof or whatever, she came in and inspected it and did the insurance claim.
Mm-hmm.
She typically called her clients about 30 minutes before showing up to the site's inspection. One day she called the client's home phone to let them know that she was on her way, and a very old sounding woman answered the phone. And what sounded like a poor static filled connection said, "Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?"
Hello?
After she disconnected, she called back. There was no answer. Then she tried the cell phone number on file, and the young woman answered and saying that she was out, but would return in about 30 minutes. When she arrived, the insurance inspector rang the doorbell, thinking that whoever initially answered the phone would answer the door. However, no one did. A few moments later, the young woman who answered the cell phone arrived. Apologetic, the inspector explained that she might have woken up the younger woman's mother. The woman looked at her confused, scared, and explained that there wasn't an older woman living in the house. After going inside, they checked the caller ID and discovered that the inspector called and someone had answered the first call. The young woman became pale and terrified as she explained that she had recently moved into this home and has been telling her husband that she thought their house was haunted by an old woman.
This is making me like get goosebumps.
Dun-dun.
It's
Can
not
you
actually
imagine
that bad.
someone answering your phone?
That is very scary.
I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but okay.
Mhm.
So I dated someone once
Okay.
and they called me and I guess I didn't answer. I don't know. No, I didn't answer and they kept calling me over and over again.
Oh,
So I
jeez.
finally answered and I was like, why do you keep calling me? Like, I just didn't hear it the first couple times.
Yeah.
And he was flipping out. And I was like, what's going on? Like, what's wrong? And he was
Yeah.
like, why would some man answer your phone? And I was like, what?
What?
And he was like, yeah, a man answered your phone. Who is he? And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I'm alone right now. There's no man here.
He's saying that somebody answered your phone and it was a guy.
It was a guy. He said it sounded like a man, like
Uh-huh.
a grown man. But he was jealous. So he was like, oh my God, who is with you? You know, the type. But
yeah.
anyway, come to find out, I pulled up my phone and it showed that I was on a call for like 30 seconds.
What?
And it was not me.
And it wasn't like a butt
It was
dial
not me.
answer or something.
I think I was leaving school. Like, it wasn't like I was home alone or anything. It was
Right.
like I was leaving school and my phone was in my bag or something.
Ew.
Yeah. And he was like, they said hey and everything. Like, it was just like, so I don't know if the phone like lines got crossed somehow and like,
Does that happen?
I don't think so. But that's what that reminded me of.
Ew. 30-second call.
Yeah, it was a roughly 30 second. I don't know if it was exactly, but
But the phone was answered.
it was answered. It wasn't just like
Ooh.
ringing.
Okay, well, here's a story. It's kind of lengthy, but like not too bad. This person titled it "Knives in the Kitchen: The Multiple Stories of One Weird Night at My Mom's House." So she says, I'm assuming this is a she. She says, "This story may need a little context. Here are a few key things to keep in mind. Number 1, I was raised by my grandparents. Number 2, I only saw my mother off and on. Number 3, she has a large number of sisters. Number 4, it is not uncommon for me to mistake nieces and nephews with my aunt and uncles. And number 5, yes, my mom's mom and my mom had kids at the same time, and I rarely saw them, so I got confused sometimes."
Lay out the dirty laundry.
Yeah, she says, and then she says, "With all that out of the way, let's dive in." I was 15 at the time, and my mother was having a large family gathering at her house. I was invited because while my mother and I weren't close, she had recovered from drug use for 2 or 3 years, was making a solid effort to turn her life around. Several of my aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews would be there, and at this point, my grandparents were pretty confident my mother was actually trying really hard to reestablish a relationship with me. We weren't the best of friends, but I also didn't hate her either. I get there, and it is a blatantly fantastic time. The younger of us played in water slides, went on four-wheeler rides, had ice cream, and were all a little tired by the end of the first day. Then night comes. My mom put on The Outsiders for us to watch while we were going to bed because I think any sane human knows trying to get 10 plus teenagers in bed on time is a wasted effort. I was exhausted, but unfortunately I had battled badly with insomnia my entire life. It was 2:30 in the morning and everyone else was asleep. Someone knocks on the door to the room we were staying in. I'm a little aggressive at this point, saying something along the lines of, "It's 2 a.m., what?" And a voice using a bad redneck accent responds saying, "It's your Uncle Mike. Grab a knife in the kitchen." I was kind of in a jolt and thought about that because I did have an Uncle Mike in the house at the time, but he was actually a redneck. This was almost as if someone was held at gunpoint and told they had to do a redneck accent, but physically were not able to. The words they were also sounding like they were choking on every word. So I simply decided I wasn't going to do that. "No, it's 2 a.m. I'm not grabbing a knife from the kitchen, Mike." I'd never called my uncle that, but for some reason the fear made me speak out of sync with my thoughts a bit. "But we made cake for everyone. You have to get a knife from the kitchen." Hell no, I thought. Mike couldn't cook anything other than bacon, hamburgers, and steaks. I opened the door and rushed into my oldest cousin's room. He was sleeping on a bed in a tent inside. Mr. Lonely was playing with a blue room light on. I locked the door behind me and slept with my cousin, who was in their 20s, and he was rough around the edges. I slept in that room that night only to wake up to accusations. Oh, what the heck? Uh-oh.
Did you read all this?
I might have, skimmed. We'll go with it together.
Okay.
My aunt, the one married to Mike, asked me why I was banging on her door all night. I told her I wasn't.
Oh, that's the accusation. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, me too. Okay.
I got a little sweaty there for a second.
Oopsie. Might have to cut that part. No. She said that apparently a similar time that I went into my cousin's room, I banged on her door and she got dressed to open it. The door to my cousin's room was open. The lights were off and no music was playing in the room, but no one was in there. When I told her my version of the story, she said that was impossible because Mike left for work at 7:30 to be at work by 8 and wouldn't be back till closer to 4 o'clock in the morning. My older cousin, who I slept with, also had a different version of the story, stating he woke up to no one in the room but his door open and him looking down the hallway to every door in the hallway being open. He shrugged it off and went back to bed after locking his door. He had no explanation for how I got in his room without jimmying the door open. After some conversation, my oldest cousin whipped out a cell phone and started begrudgingly asking questions. When we heard nothing, we listened to the video, and clear as day, a voice can be heard speaking, saying, "My name is Mike." Afterwards, my family decided it was a weird night, and we didn't bring it up again, except in jokingly ways, because what were you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
My mom and aunt were very spiritual, but I'm a skeptic. I just thought I'd tell my version of the events, and yeah, my whole family thought it was weird that I heard a voice at the other side of the door. When I opened it, no one was there. I never even thought about that aspect as a scared teen.
I don't like that.
Me either.
Go get a knife? What do you think they wanted?
Go get a knife. Wouldn't that be so weird to wake up and somebody's banging on your door saying, "Go get a knife"?
Yeah.
I'd be scared. I'm already like such a paranoid person just because
home intrusion.
A scaredy cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also home invasion is probably my biggest fear in life.
I my first thought would be like, oh my god, is somebody in the house? Do I have to get a knife?
Yeah.
But
also
my ass would not be. She's brave she brave to open the damn door, because I would have been like, hell to the no.
Yeah, she opened the door to run out.
Absolutely not.
If they would have been on the other side, I mean, we would have been goner.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Don't like that.
Me either. Ugh.
Hello?
Hello? Go get a knife.
Somebody went to the... This is Mike.
This is Mike.
This is Mike.
Mike?
Go get a knife. I can't do an accent.
Go get a knife.
Go get a knife.
We sound kind of similar.
Okay. I have... This one I wanted to branch off on.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
When I was 16, I was riding horses with my friend in a field beside our house. The horse threw me and I hit my head hard. The next thing I know, I'm on my back in incredible pain, staring up at my friend, who was frantically screaming at me. Dazed, my head shifted and then refocused on her friend behind her, a tall, thin man wearing a black suit and an old-fashioned wide-brim hat. He was staring unblinkingly into my eyes over my friend's shoulder. Days later, when she came to visit me in the hospital and asked me I asked her about the man I'd seen. I thought it was her new boyfriend, since she'd recently told me about. She told me there was no one there but me and her.
Oh.
So that was what I wanted to lead into. That is the third man syndrome, or the third man factor is what it's called.
Please tell us about this.
So I Googled it, and the definition is, or the synopsis, is that the right word?
Yeah.
The third man factor or third man syndrome refers to report situations where an unseen presence, such as a spirit, provides comfort and support during a traumatic experience.
And you were telling me a few weeks ago about some videos that you'd seen like on TikTok.
Yes.
Of people in like car accidents.
There was one where a girl said that she got in an accident and she was in the passenger seat and her scalp was folded like off, like the skin was hanging off.
Yeah.
And she said somebody came up to the window because she was stuck in the car. Like they had to do like, I guess, I don't know if they got her out. I don't remember. But they got like a shirt or something and held it to her head, like the skin to her head. So it wasn't just like hanging.
Yeah.
And she was bleeding a lot and she was out of it kind of. But she said somebody sat there and held it and calmed her down and was like, it's going to be okay. I'm here for you. Like, you know, I'm going to take care of you. Nothing's going to happen. Like, you're fine. Like, just calming her down. She said she felt peace at it. She was very calm. Anyway, I want to say he helped her get out of the car. I could be wrong on this part, but I want to say he helped her get out of the car. So anyway, she gets, the ambulance shows up, the police show up, she gets taken away. She asked the officers about this man. She wanted to thank him because he like saved her.
Right.
He never existed.
Oh my gosh.
They couldn't find him. It was never a thing.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
And this is a pretty common experience that people have apparently because there's other videos.
And so I asked people that I know, because I know someone that's had a near-death experience that like they nearly died from it, and they had someone that came to, it was an accident, and somebody came and helped them through the accident. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but they helped them with the accident, and I was like, are you sure they existed?
Right.
Like, I was questioning it. I was like, because the way you're describing it is exactly how everybody else is like describing it.
Their situation.
And he was like, no, yeah, the police officers made contact afterwards. And I was like, oh, okay. Never mind.
Wouldn't that have been crazy though if they were like,
well,
no.
It makes me think, because like I had a near-death experience. Like I was almost seeing the light, you know? So
yeah,
makes you wonder, were there two women helping me?
That's what, when you told me that story for the first time, after we had talked about the third man syndrome, I was like, the Walmart worker ladies?
Yeah. Were they
real?
Was it coincidence that there was somebody sitting at the aisle that I happened to be on at 9 a.m. that no one is ever on?
Oh.
It's like me being in the tire section or the oil section.
Yeah.
Like,
who's going to be over there
or
in the
the
morning?
Fishing at 7 a.m. Yeah.
I mean, where we live, it wouldn't be that
it would
crazy.
Be. Yeah. But no, it makes you wonder, because I never saw those ladies again. Again, could I point them out if I could?
Also,
but no.
Dude, now that I think more about it, the reason when you asked them to call and they were like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Could you imagine? What if it is?
That makes total sense.
If you worked at Walmart in 2015
and you helped a girl
in September, holiday weekend, holler at your girl.
We need some fact checkers.
Yeah, in our city Walmart.
That makes so much sense. Why they were like, no, I can't call anybody for it.
But like the way the woman was so, because one of them, there's two of them, but one of them was like so calming. Like one went and got me water.
Yeah.
And then the other one, she put a stuffed animal behind my head. She held my hand and she was like, squeeze and yell if you need to, because I was in pain.
Yeah.
And it was just, I don't know.
That's so crazy.
You never know.
No. Oh, now that's like really got me thinking now.
And it makes me wonder, like, how many people in life do you have full conversations with that you walk up to on the street? Not that I walk up to anybody on the street, but like in general, who never even existed.
Or you're in a situation where you talk to somebody that you wouldn't, or that you don't know or wouldn't talk to, and
they're not real. Like they were never a thing.
That's crazy. Like it's solely just a presence or a figure to comfort you, or like,
in a situation.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't even connect the phone thing to that. And just now I was like,
I didn't think about that either until you just said that.
Oh my gosh.
Could you imagine?
That's crazy.
But I was watching some videos on it today, and it was like, it goes back all the way to, again, I'm not a history person.
Yeah.
But it goes all the way back to when they first took like a boat of like 18 people. I could be wrong on that number. It could be 14. It could be 15. I don't know. They took people to the Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
They took them there they wanted to be the first people to explore it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the boat got like entrapped by like icebergs or something. And, the guy was like on the brink of death or whatever, and they were like trying to survive or whatever. And then there was 3 of them left. But there was a fourth one that he recalls, a fourth person that he didn't know that was there. He just thought it was one of the men or whatever.
Right.
But when they were saved, there was only 3 of them. So he never said anything. It never was brought up. It was never. And then in an interview, another one of the 3 guys said something.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh my God, I saw him too.
Oh my gosh.
But he never existed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then there's a bunch of them I watched an interview today. It was on like a TV, it was back in like the 90s or 80s, it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
But it was an interview of a guy, I don't remember his name, but he was skiing and an avalanche hit. And he broke like all of his like abdomen, like all of his, like a bunch of bones were broken. He was going to die. It was cold. It was wet. Move. And he said there was somebody there that helped him through it, calmed him down, and like told him what to do next, like how to survive, like was telling him step by step on how to survive.
Like a paramedic or something.
Yeah. And then he was like, some skiers went by. And so the guy told me to yell for help. And then come to find out there was skiers going by and they came and helped him. And there was never another person.
Oh my gosh. That is so crazy.
But there's books out there about it of people that have had this experience.
Now I just want to do a deep dive.
Yeah, you should, because there's not a lot of YouTube videos on it. Oh, I did screenshot one. Hold on. I watched a YouTube. Her name's like Paranormal Captivity.
Oh.
Her name's like Cat or something, I think. I don't really know, but what's her name? Yeah, Captivity. Anyway. Here's one. My car broke down in the middle of a very busy street. The only person with me was my baby asleep in her car seat. I got out of the car and confirmed that there was nothing I could do. This was before everyone had cell phones. I'm looking around frantically for any help, and this guy shows up at the end of the street as if out of nowhere and runs over to help me push the car out of the way. When it's parked, I thanked him, peeked him on my baby to thank him more and offer him cash. This could have taken more than 30 seconds, like peeking in to see the baby.
Mm-hmm.
He was gone. I looked down every path he could have taken. He was nowhere to be found in this area. There's nowhere he could have stepped that I couldn't see. Literally insane.
That's so wild. Oh my god.
And I watched one today on TikTok of a girl. She was like, my sister told me I had to tell the story since it's popping off on TikTok. And I was like, oh god. Anyway, so she's like, so she gets in a car accident and she's got her 3-year-old and like an older kid in the back seat. In the accident, she goes through the windshield. She flies out through the windshield and she's laying on her stomach. She lands on her stomach. And these 2 boys stopped, and they were like church looking boys. They had polos on, some nice like khaki type shorts. She called them board shorts. I don't know what that is, but
yeah.
Anyway, she was like, and they helped me. They kept me calm. They kept my kids calm. My comms, because she said I was like in a ditch the way I landed, and the kids couldn't see me anymore.
Oh,
and so the kids were screaming, "Mommy, where are you? Mommy, where are you?" And she was trying to tell them to listen to her voice, but then those 2 guys stopped, helped, and calmed the kids down.
Yeah.
She said she like tried to sit up, but her body wasn't connected to her legs anymore.
What?
Like it wasn't that it wasn't unconnected. She broke something, and it felt like her legs couldn't. She was wheelchair bound for like 6 months, she said.
Could not support herself.
Yeah. But these guys were there the entire time, kept her safe until the police showed up and MedFlight showed up. So then afterwards, the officer that was on scene, she went to him and was like, I really want to thank these 2 boys. Like, they really helped me. They kept my kids calm. It was like, they were amazing. And he was like, there was no one there. The only person that stopped was a truck driver. And he wasn't even there with you. He left to go find what mile marker you were on so he could call the police.
Oh my gosh. That is so, I can't even... Like, imagine fully believing or like fully knowing, and then somebody being like, no, that never happened.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, what?
Blows my mind.
Ugh. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. But it's like kind of peaceful too.
It's very comforting.
But people think like, because so many reports have been when you're close to death and you're cold, that they think it's something with your brain. They think that it's like when you're suffering from like hypothermia or whatever, something in your
like
brain triggers something. Yeah,
like
that's what they
flight?
think it is. and your body creates like this
scenario.
Yeah.
To help you
To
survive.
help you survive. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Which I just can't imagine like a human form of someone touching you and helping you,
And it
and
being
then come to find out it's not
And it being so like
real
vivid and realistic. There needs to be some kind of like scientific research on that or something.
Yeah. But then again, there should be scientific research on ghosts, and we don't got nothing.
Period.
You know what I mean?
This story's called "I Got My Ass Whooped by a Ghost."
Way to end on a good one. I'm just kidding. How many more do you have? Is that your last one?
This is my last
Okay.
one. Yeah. Okay. So to preface, I was training kind of hard going into powerlifting at the time. My wife worked nights, so I was home with my kids. I'd laid them down to go to bed. I heard someone knock on my door. Not unusual since I know many tenants on my property, and the closest one was a good friend of mine. I opened the door to no one. I just kind of assumed my friend Ding Dong ditched me on his way home for laughs, so I went back to playing Skyrim. Then I was shoved hard enough for me to throw my controller into the wall and break it. I hit my head and bled pretty badly. I got up in a panic and looked around for whatever truck hit me, and it was dead silent in my place. I called my mom and my aunt, who did some cleansing stuff, and advised me on what to do. I did it even though I don't believe in it, because it's better than nothing. Then my power got cut. I opened my door after checking my breaker box inside my place. Someone outside flipped the main breaker. Then I opened the door and turned the main breaker on outside. I felt very uneasy when I made it back into my house. Supposedly, my mom thinks whatever entered needed the door open and knocked my power out to trick me into opening the door. A few days later, my wife jokes about me jolting awake and seeing a 7-foot muscular figure in our room over our youngest child, and decided to go back to sleep, assuming it was sleep paralysis.
Fuck
That's terrifying.
No, I think that one's the scariest one out of them all. When it physically like hurts you, like nay.
He said he got shoved so hard that it made him throw his controller.
Yeah, and then the thought. Okay, so I don't like home invasions or whatever they're called. Like, obviously, who does? But the thought of being in a house and someone cutting your power, and you're only like, my breaker box is in my house. I mean, there's, I guess, a breaker box outside too, but like the main breakers,
Mine's outside,
are inside on the wall in our bedroom. So like, I can't imagine someone turning my power off, expecting me to go outside and check.
Oh, yeah, I know. When he said my mom thinks that whatever it was needed inside, so
Yeah.
they cut the power so that I'd open the door.
Growing up, my biggest fear were windows. I've told this on the podcast, I'm pretty sure. I do
Yeah.
not like windows. They freak me out.
And chalk.
So, yes.
Yeah.
Way to bring that one up.
Sorry.
Anyway, so there's a window in this room that we're in right now. Did I tell you about one night you left after the podcast? I was sitting in here editing and or not editing, but I was messing with the podcast and uploading it and doing all that stuff. And it sounded like something kept tapping on the window.
No.
Like over and over again, like loudly.
This is why you keep the blinds shut.
They were shut. And I was like, so I got nothing was playing in here. It was completely dead silent.
Right.
And I just sat here and I just waited. And there's no like leaves or anything outside my window.
No.
Like there's nothing there except like
No.
a chair. But so I'm sitting here and I'm like, and we don't leave our porch light on, so I know it's not bugs like just zapping the window.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here and I'm like, I have the blue ring light on, and it kept doing it. Like over and over and
Like a
over
tapping
again.
noise?
Yes, like that. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm freaking the fuck out, So I go get James. I'm like, James. Oh no, it was later that night. I told James when I went to get in bed, because I just bolted. Like after like 15 minutes of it, I was like, not my thing. And I'm not looking out the window. It's dead dark outside. It's like 9:00 at night. So I was like, nope. So I got into bed and I told James about it. I was like, when I was editing or something, and he was like in bed and he said, why didn't you come get me? I was like, why would I come get you? And he was like, so I could go out there and check to make sure there's no one outside our house. And I was like, but a Ring doorbell would have went off if somebody would have been out there because it faces like it's right by the door.
Right.
He's like, not if they come up this way and up that way. They would never even be in front of the Ring doorbell.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, didn't think about that. But anyway,
That's
it
so
scared
scary.
the piss out of me. I hated it.
Ugh, yeah. A home invasion scares me so bad. Like when I was a teenager and I lived at home,
Mm-hmm.
I would be like going to sleep in my room and like the lights would be off, whatever. And my bed was right beside the window in my bedroom. And when I would be trying to go to sleep, I'd be laying there thinking about what my plan would be if somebody broke in. Like if I heard somebody come in the house, like what my exit strategy would be, or like what my defense strategy would be. And so I think that made me very paranoid.
Yeah.
A, I'm already terrified of it. So, and B, now I'm just like a paranoid person.
Yeah.
Because I'm a scaredy cat. But it's terrifying.
Like we were gonna nail down the windows shut in the house, like nail them all down, but I'm too terrified of a house fire and not being able to get out.
Yeah.
So we have not done that yet. Now everything has locks on it, so people thinking that they can come and break in my house. There's locks on everything.
Again.
Yeah,
Right.
Please try. No, I'm just kidding. Don't try, please.
Please.
Please don't.
It's not a challenge.
It's not a challenge. But we have like top locks, bolt locks. We have millions of locks in this house, so I feel safe, but like
Still scary.
I have a Snapchat of me. I was drinking. I was home alone. I think Jocelyn was asleep, and I was drinking. I was home alone, and James went somewhere. I was Snapchatting, and it's a video of me like talking, and then you hear a loud bang in the video, and I was like, I wonder if I can find it, but I have it saved to my phone, so I know it's in my phone somewhere.
Right.
And I was like freaking out in the Snapchat. I was like, oh my God, there's someone coming. Like, I'm gonna die, you know?
Yeah.
And it was the dryer. My husband turned it on before he left.
Oh my. It's scary to think about. Even if they couldn't get in, it's scary to think about somebody trying to get in your house.
Like, coaxing you out or whatever. Like, trying to get you to come out.
Or like, imagine being in your bed and it's pitch black and you just hear somebody banging on your door. Oh, that sends me in a full panic. Like right now, just even thinking about that.
No, thank gosh, I have a man that carries a gun and likes to.
Yeah, same.
And is very protective.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what I would do. I mean, night shift. I mean, I told you about the time that we thought we had that home intrude, like the time that someone was trying to break in. And I'm just so grateful I have someone that is like calm in those situations because I was shaking so bad I couldn't dial 911. That's how freaked out I was.
Oh my gosh.
And he was like, just give me the phone. And I was like, okay, take it, please.
We have.
I like black out.
Yeah. Well, that's why.
That's why the Brian Kober thing doesn't make sense to me. I get like her freaking out and like locking herself in the room, but like, I guess, but not for like 6 hours.
Yeah, no. I mean, instinctively, I would have done the same thing. I would lock the door because I'm not trying to get some random person in my house to try and harm me.
I would freaking get a mattress or something and shove it against the door.
Yeah. And then after like 30 minutes of me not hearing anything or an hour,
calm down for a second and then breathe.
Yeah. But you know, she had her phone with her.
Yeah.
She could have called the police and stayed locked in her room until she heard them. I just still don't get it.
I don't get it either. The whole thing's weird. I saw a conspiracy on it the other day about how they do think the roommates are involved.
They do?
Yeah, I don't know if they think they're involved, like the police and stuff, but like a lot of people think that there are because how everybody knew before the police knew and how
I want some stuff to come out about the roommate.
I do too.
Like more answers.
Yeah, I think do we deserve it? No, but
it's been a while.
Yeah, I think it should be public knowledge.
It's been a while since I last saw you.
Take me to church.
Oh.
The song's been stuck in my head all day.
2 separate ways.
I know, but that song's been stuck in my head all day. And then I started singing Barbie Girl because the movie's coming out. And I saw an ad for it.
I saw a post today that said that there have been a lot of ticket sales for people buying a ticket to see the Barbie movie and to see that Oppenheimer movie.
Yeah,
the
everybody's
same
talking about that,
day.
but I've never seen the Oppenheimer. I've never even seen a commercial for it.
Have you not? The trailer looks pretty good.
What is it? Like, what is it about?
I don't know how to explain it.
Oh, okay.
The trailer looks good though. You should watch the trailer. We'll watch it after this.
Okay.
Do you want to see the Barbie movie?
No, I mean, not particularly.
Oh, okay.
Particularly.
Particularly?
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't go out and buy a ticket to see
Probably
it?
not. I'll wait for it to come out on Netflix or something.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
In like 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see it 2 years after it comes out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I watched the new Mario movie.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I watched it with Giacomo.
How was it?
It was good. It was cute. I don't really watch it, but I like somewhat watched
Just
it.
there with it on.
I've been watching the Lego Batman movie. Obsessed.
So good.
Pray hands. Yeah.
Oh, this was a spooky episode. This has got
I
me
liked
kind
it.
of scared.
Let us know if you like the music.
Ooh,
So exciting.
scary. Yeah, guys, let us know if you like the background music because we can definitely find some fitting background audios for whatever the kind of feel of the
We know how to
episode's
do
gonna
it
be.
now.
Yeah, we're professional.
Professional. Talk about that free music.
Royalty
Well, is
free?
it free? Let's be honest.
Well, no.
Royalty
we
it
had
is.
to pay for it, but we're not going to get a copyright strike.
Yeah. So win-win.
Period.
Yeah.
Pop off, queens.
Yeah. That's on. I don't know. Never mind.
Anyways, guys,
Anyway.
thanks for listening to the episode. Hopefully, you guys can all sleep tonight. Ooh.
Let us know your fears or if you have any
Oh.
experiences of any kind
Yes.
down below.
Please, if you have paranormal experiences, if you don't, if you're skeptical, let us know what your thoughts on the whole situation
Or the
is.
third man syndrome. If it's happened to you,
Yeah.
please let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to read some. Maybe on the next episode, if you guys comment, we'll read
Yeah.
some of the comments.
Also, we are popping off on John Benet Ramsey.
Go give our YouTube some love, guys.
Yeah.
Our episode a few weeks back of the John Benet Ramsey case is going viral.
I don't know about viral, but
Well,
you and viral.
Viral for us.
But it is doing good, but it's because of Kendall Ray. She just came out with that video with the prosecutor.
Well, thank you to Kendall Ray.
Yeah.
We
or
owe
the
her-
DA.
Yeah. We like Kendall Ray.
I love Kendall Ray.
Like we know her personally.
Yeah, she's my BFF. Okay. Anyway.
Thanks for listening, guys. We'll
Okay.
see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.